Sports. We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Last night, the entire team came together to give Jeff Bannister his first win as a major league manager. Clutch hitting, good defense, and great pitching brought it all together as your Rangers evened the series with the A's. Tonight, it's Ross Detweiler's Texas debut, and he's pumped to be back in the starting rotation. The Rangers look for 2 in a row over Oakland next on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. You know, the skies have pretty much cleared up over Odotco Coliseum, the East Bay in Oakland, California, where the Athletics are hosting your Texas Rangers. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Graves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Wednesday evening of Ranger baseball. And the Rangers trying to make it 2 in a row with Jeff Bannister and Ross Detweiler, the newest Ranger hurler in the starting rotation, starting tonight for the club.
Yeah, and you know, Buzz, he's been in the big leagues for a few years. He was a former #1 draft choice of the Washington Nationals, but last year he was in the bullpen all season. He really wanted to be a starting pitcher. He's very happy to be in Texas, glad they acquired him in the offseason, but I got a feeling he's going to have some butterflies tonight in his first start for the Rangers. It's his first start since July 3rd of 2013. He had a nice spring training. He's ready for this start and looking forward to seeing it.
Now, the Rangers could use another good one from their starter. They got one last night from Colby Lewis, and Ross Detweiler trying to back that up with another great start here tonight. We'll have Game 3, the Rangers and the Athletics coming to you, as Steve Buechele and Dave Magadan try to get the hitters going. Ross Detweiler facing Oakland. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this. Is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The EcoBoost Challenge is on at your Texas Ford dealer. Get your best in Texas Ford dealer today. By AT&T UVerse TV. UVerse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. A gorgeous evening here in Oakland, California, the overhead of downtown. And before we get things underway with the Rangers and the A's, let's head down to the field. Dana Larson is standing by. Dana?
Buzz, thank you. Ross Detweiler is one happy man these days. He is very happy to be here in Texas, said it didn't take him long at all to feel right at home with his new teammates and back in his old role as a starter.
I never really had a routine as a reliever. I didn't know when I was going to throw. I never really had a role. So as a starter, being able to get your 4-day routine and then have the 5th-day throw every time around, actually knowing where you're going to be and when to be there, it helps me out a lot.
He is certainly enjoying the routine of things these days and hoping to make quality starts routine as well. His first opportunity to do that coming up in just a few minutes. Buzz and Tom.
All right, Dana, thank you very much. Well, Ross Detweiler will be on the hill for the Rangers. Let's take a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for your Texas Rangers. Here's Tom.
A little bit different look tonight. The top of the order is the same. Leonis Martin will lead off in center field. Elvis Andrus is the shortstop, batting second. Adrian Beltre will DH tonight and bat third. Prince Fielder at first base bats fourth. Ryan Rua in left field, followed by Jake Smolinski getting his first start, batting sixth. In right field, Adam Rosales will play third base tonight and bat seventh. Rugnan Odor is eighth, and Robinson Chirinos behind the plate bats number 9.
And that lineup that Jeff Bannister has thrown out there will be facing this left-hander, Scott Kazmir, the 31-year-old out of Houston, Texas. Kazmir, a career best 15 wins last year with Oakland, his only year with the A's. He signed as a free agent prior to last season, a 3-time All-Star. He was voted on that All-Star team last year. Pitched in Sugar Land, the independent Atlantic League, back in 2012. He was out of the major leagues for a couple of years, and boy, he has really made a strong comeback, gotten himself back together. May not be the overpowering pitcher that he was earlier in his career, but strikeouts have not suffered much, and he is a very good competitor. So here's Leonis Martin, get a bunt, and it's a good one. It's going to be a race, and Leonis is going to win that race. Mark Kenna trying to glove it and make the tag all in one motion, didn't come up with it, and that will be a leadoff bunt single for Leonis Martin.
Yeah, once he got that ball down, he kind of bunted a little pop-up that just drops dead when it hits the ground, and Canna made a nice try. He had only one play, and that's the desperation dive, catch, and swipe the tag all at the same time, and he wasn't quite able to do it.
Well, Leonis leading things off with that bunt single. Boy, that's a weapon too, Tom. I know you and I have talked about it a little bit with Martin against left-handers. He likes to get that bunt down. And there's a pretty good bunt by Elvis Andrus to move Leonis Martin into scoring position. The sacrifice is down. He goes 2-3 on the putout. And Martin now in scoring position.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty nice bunt, and it took a very nice play by Fegley, the catcher, to make that play at first base. He had to field it kind of like a shortstop and throw on the run quickly and accurately to get Elvis at first base.
So 2 pitches, a bunt single and a sacrifice bunt for the Rangers. Man at second, and here's Adrian Beltre, who is DHing tonight. Adrian still looking for his first hit of 2015. 1 ball, no strikes. Adrian last year a .324 mark with 19 home runs, 77 driven in. Power numbers down a bit, but when you consider that Adrian was just about the only Ranger left standing the entire year, those are pretty impressive numbers. It was all by himself in the middle of that batting order. Fegley out to have a chat with Scott Kazmir. Beltre, 56th all-time one behind Joe Carter with 395 home runs. He will go over 400 this year and just turned 36 yesterday. You've got to think that Beltre has quite a few more good years in him, the way he keeps himself in shape. The love he has for playing the game, that's going to carry him a long way. There's the all-time home run list around Adrian. Right in front of him, Joe Carter, one ahead, and then Dale Murphy, Al Kaline, and Andres Galarraga before you get to 400. He was trying to make that 396, came up empty.
If you look at opponents' batting average last year for Kazmir, right-hand hitters hit 227 against Kazmir, left-hand hitters hit 273. And you'd have to think, Buzz, that the reason the righties struggled against him was that changeup that you just saw right there to Adrian. He's got an excellent changeup.
And that's a pitch that Kazmir has developed over the years. When he first came up, he was in a very lively fastball in the mid-90s. Also had a very sharp breaking ball that was his strikeout pitch. He's added that changeup. He's also added a good cut fastball that'll run in on right-handers. And again, Fagley out to talk with Kazmir. Got first base open, and this is kind of the reverse of last night we were talking about it. You have Adrian Beltre at the plate, a right-handed hitter. Then you have the left-handed hitting Prince Fielder following him in the order. Kazmir and Fagley have a decision to make as to if they want to go right after Adrian Beltre. Two balls and a strike. I think that 3-1. There's Prince. Big man with both RBI for the Rangers this season. Both came last night in that 3-1 Ranger win. Both the Rangers and the A's 1-1. The Rangers now have won 8 of the last 11 ball games against the A's in this ballpark. They have played well against Oakland in their home facility. 3-2 on the foul ball. Beltre over the years has enjoyed hitting not only against the A's but in this ballpark himself. Been a 284 hitter with 10 RBI in the 17 games since 2013 for the Rangers. Check swing, look out. Foul ball and near the on-deck circle of Prince Fielder, who kind of shows Adrian where he wanted him to hit the ball. Hit it the other way, will you? Coming right at you. Almost. Leonis Martin at second. 1 out in the top of the first. To third base. A nice short hop play by Lowry and on across the diamond for out number 2. Bill Martin staying at second. He's there with 2 outs now, and Prince Fielder coming up.
Having in the fourth position, first baseman, number 84, Prince Fielder.
Take a look at the Ford leaderboard with Prince coming to the plate since 2006. He is 6th in the major leagues with 286 home runs. And he is 7th in Major League Baseball with 878 RBI. Very consistent, very impressive numbers for the big guy. 0-1.
Prince has been very aggressive early in the season, frequently offering at that first pitch, especially if it's a fastball.
See the numbers last year. Fielder with the real bad neck issue that required surgery. There's 3 home runs for Fielder. Down to the count here. No balls, 2 strikes.
Kazmir popped that fastball 94 miles an hour.
Good look at the Fox tracks for you right at the bottom of the strike zone, that last pitch. And the off-speed pitch is a bit low. 1-2. Kazmir, as we mentioned, had 15-9 record last year, but he got off to a great start. The first half of the season, he was 9-2, which prompted his selection to the All-Star team. And had a little problem the second half. And he gets fielder here on the high fastball. The Rangers get a leadoff single, but strand Leonis Martin at second. Half an inning in the books. Rangers nothing. A's coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. Tom with the Oakland lineup for you.
Oakland's lineup is also a little bit different tonight. Craig Gentry will lead off in center field, followed by newly acquired Cody Ross, who's in right field. Ben Zobrist and Billy Butler bat third and fourth again. Mark Canha, a Rule 5 draft pick, will play first base, followed by Brett Lawrie. Catcher Josh Fegley gets his first start of the season. Marcus Semien again at shortstop. And batting ninth, the second baseman with his first start, Tyler Leidendorf.
And for the Rangers, 29-year-old left-hander Ross Detweiler is on the hill. Detweiler, as we mentioned, making his first start since the middle of July of 2013 for Washington. He was originally a first-round draft pick by the Nationals in 2006. Pitched out of the bullpen for Washington last year and was very grateful to have the opportunity to come over and be a starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers. The opposition last year, left-handers hit just .226. And Craig Gentry fouling off the second pitch. It is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Oakland is one team that if you have a lefty, he's probably not going to see many left-hand hitters because they love to platoon. They've usually, over the last couple of years, had 2 or 3, sometimes 4 guys platooning, lefty, righty. And today, looking at their lineup, I don't think they have a left-hand hitter in the lineup. All left-hand hitters, Fold, Sogard, Davis, and Vogt, who have played the first couple of games, aren't playing tonight against the lefty.
Gentry, fly ball to left. Rua has this one measured. That is out number 1. And let's take a look at the Rangers defense delivered to you tonight by Chicken Express. And we saw Ryan Rua in left field. He is joined by Leonis Martin in center and Jake Smolinski to start in right. Infield with fielder Odor and Andrews up the middle. Rosales to start at third base tonight. And Robinson Chirinos is catching for the left-hander Ross Detweiler. No, 1 away, and here's the newest Oakland A, and that would be Cody Ross. Ranger fans will remember kind of distastefully about Cody Ross with the 2010 San Francisco Giants. He had a great postseason. Giants, of course, besting the Rangers in that first ever Texas World Series. Cody Ross signing as a free agent with the A's officially today. And speculation about him for the last week or so. He was released very tail end of spring training by the Diamondbacks. Detweiler back to him. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Ross, I guess another one of those guys that you mentioned, Tom, the platoon situation for the Oakland A's. He fits right in because he's been a platoon player the last several years, no matter where he's been.
Mm-hmm.
High pop foul down the right side. That's going to fall untouched. Near the Ranger bullpen. Over to take a look. Jake Smolinski, but that is out of his reach, and the count remains 2-2. Ross Detweiler from the St. Louis area, Wentzville, Missouri. Went to school at Missouri State down in Springfield in the southwest corner of the state of Missouri. Got him on the fists, and Cody Ross staying alive at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Detweiler, you will see, if you're not familiar with him, a fastball, a curveball, and he'll change angles with that curveball a bit, and a straight change, which is not one of his strong pitches. 2 hopper, out to Rougned Odor, 2 gone.
And we haven't seen him a lot, saw him a little bit in spring training, but it looks like he's got a good curveball. I like the way his curveball comes out of his hand. Roogie going with the earmuffs again tonight. That's a good look on him.
Yeah, he and Elvis have that thing going. Elvis he's a trendsetter.
Yep.
Oh, 2 out, bases empty for Ben Zobrist. Switch hitter will turn around and hit from the right side. First time we've seen him as a right-handed hitter in this series. Zobrist 2 out of 9 with a double and a home run. Last year with Tampa Bay, a good year again, 272. Elvis from the hole, and he throws a strike to Prince Fielder, and Ross Detweiler has a nice 1-2-3 inning to get his career with the Rangers underway. After 1, no score in Oakland. Enjoy a post-game concert from Casting Crowns. It's presented by Buckner International. Concert will follow the 2:05 game against these Oakland A's, and you can get your game tickets and a field pass to watch the concert on the field at TexasRangers.com/concerts. Top of the 2nd inning, scoreless ball game. Ryan Rua to start things off, and he takes strike 1. It'll be Rua, Smolinski, and Rosales to face Scott Kazmir. Rangers had a leadoff bunt single by Leonis Martin, but could not advance him beyond second base in the 1st inning. Use that changeup. It's Pretty good one. Rua 1 out of 7 in this series. The numbers last year, the last 28 ball games that he played in at the major league level last year, a 295 mark. He was gone on strikes as Kazmir heated him up upstairs.
Yeah, Kazmir's got a pretty good assortment going today. He always has the good changeup to the right-hand hitter. He's got a little more zip on his fastball today than he did late in the season last year. Aired that last one out at 94 miles an hour, just like the one that struck out Prince Fielder. He really has a good delivery with his changeup. You can't pick it up as a hitter. I think it's a fastball, swing just like it is a fastball.
No one out. Here's Jake Smolinski for his first at bat of the season. Jake came in last night in the 9th inning to play defensively. This is his first at bat last year. A 349 average for Smolinski. Here's the changeup. That evens the count now at a ball and a strike.
Kazmir was much better last year in the first part of the season than he was at the end of the season. After August 1st, he had a 6.05 ERA. A little tired as the season went on. As you said, Buzz, he made the All-Star team. Midway, a little more than midway through the season, he was having a super season, 12-3 with a 2.37 ERA. Pitched very well in April.
The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Now Kazmir last year making that really his first full year back in the major leagues. Now he started 29 games in 2013 for Cleveland. He's only thrown 158 innings. He gets a third straight strikeout. 2 in this inning.
All 3 of them have come on high 94-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Take a look at the Kubota power stats for you. Scott Kazmir, career-wise, 1,319 strikeouts since 2004. That was the year of his debut. That's 9th in the American League in that time span. Last year, 164 strikeouts in the season. That was second on the A's.
Pretty good to be 9th over that period of time, pitching in Sugarland a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you remember originally Kazmir was property of the New York Mets and went to Tampa Bay in a big trade. Came to the big leagues in that 2004 season. 239 strikeouts in 2007 for Kazmir in just 206 innings. Here's Adam Rosales, who has had a pretty good history against Scott Kazmir. 7 for 17. One ball, one strike. And like Smolinski, Adam Rosales getting his first action here in game number 3 of the season. So the only player we will not have seen as of yet for the Rangers, Delino DeShields Jr. And Jeff Bannister saying before the ball game today, you probably are going to see him tonight or tomorrow. Maybe not starting a ball game, but he said we'll get him in there somehow. Knee-high strike. It's 2-2. Ranger Player of the Month last August. Adam Rosales had that 2-home run game against Chris Sale up in Chicago. 3-2.
Well, obviously, when you make the All-Star team, you have to have been throwing very well for the first half of the season. And we saw Kazmir 4 times last year. I don't know if in those 4 games we saw him throw better than he's throwing right now.
Yep.
His fastball is 94, 95 miles an hour. Hasn't thrown many breaking balls. It's been fastball, changeup, and serving him pretty well.
Got him swinging, and he strikes out the side in order. That's 4 straight. Set down by Kazmir's left arm. 1.5 in the books. We are still scoreless in Oakland. by your Texas Ford dealers. The EcoBoost Challenge is on at your Texas Ford dealer. Get to your best in Texas, Texas Ford dealer. The sun setting, the low clouds and fog, the marine layer, if you will, coming in over the hills of San Francisco. Billy Butler leading off. Ross Detweiler misses with a fastball. Butler been the DH in all 3 games now for the A's. 2 out of 8. A double and an RBI in the series. 271 the average last year. This last year in Kansas City. Detweiler fires a strike. Butler coming over as a free agent in the offseason. Signed a 3-year deal with Oakland. Detweiler back with another strike. Took something off and got it in at the knees. 1-2.
One thing you like about Ross is he gets the ball back and he's standing on the rubber looking for the sign. He's not walking around out there. He's ready to go.
Got him swinging.
Back-to-back changeups. Yeah, 2 good ones.
First strikeout for Detweiler.
Well, both lefties featuring a pretty nice changeup tonight. Butler way out in front of that last one. Saw it on the pitch before, too.
Detweiler said one of the things he's able to do now that, as a starter again, that he wasn't able to do as a reliever is use all of his pitches more frequently.
Right.
And I think that's a significant difference when you're a starter as opposed to being a reliever. And I think one of the reasons that Ross is much more comfortable in a starting role, you heard him tell Dana that he was had a much better feel for what to do at the time in between outings. Long run over for Robinson Chirinos, and he stays with it nicely to make a catch. Chirinos had to go about 100 feet for that pop-up and had time to get there, and nice play by the Ranger backstop.
Yeah, you see big league catchers make these kind of plays, and they make it look so easy. He's making a similar kind of play, really, that Adrian had to make down the line. Got all the gear on, running toward the dugout. All that room allowed him to get to it. He just reached up and made a routine catch on it. It's not that easy, Bo. Put that gear on, take it off, and try to find that ball and run it down like that. But big league catchers make it look easy.
2 outs. Here's Brett Lowry, and I bet he went home last night and saw breaking balls in his nightmares.
He's hoping to get a ball tonight. That's 13 straight strikes he's seen.
He gets a fastball here and yanks it down the left field line, but it's hooking foul.
Well, he made some contact anyway.
He did.
Last night it was 4 at-bats, 12 strikes, 4 punch-outs, and now it's 0-2 first time up tonight.
See if Detweiler puts a little wrinkle in this. They tried to and missed.
I can remember doing this one time, striking out 4 times, coming into the next game, striking out another time, and then hitting a foul pop-up in the 6th at-bat and hoping that someone caught it just to break the strikeout streak.
That starts to play with your head a little bit, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
You're embarrassed. You know, you don't want to walk back in the dugout. You know, the players feel bad for you, but you don't want to look at anybody. Fans are probably looking at their scorecard. They know what happened. They're talking about it. Announcers are mentioning it.
Boy, that breaking ball, and just able to check his swing, Lowry.
If he swung at that, he was going to have to swing straight down at it. That's what it looked like the start of his swing was. But he laid off it. That was a good, big breaking curveball.
Now the 2-2. Full count to Lowry. Now Lowry trying to prolong this second inning. If he's able to get aboard, Josh Fegley, the catcher, would be next. Payoff pitch from Detweiler. We will try it again. Lowry, we mentioned, came over from Toronto in that trade that sent Josh Donaldson east. Pretty well to center field. Leonis Martin in a hurry, can't get there. It is up the alley, off the wall. Rounding second, headed for third. He's going to be out if the throw's there. It is in time And out at third base is Brett Lowry trying to stretch a 2-out double into a triple. Good relay from Martin to Andrus and on to Rosales. Side retired. On to the third. Still scoreless. Los Angeles Angels. That'll be April 13th through the 15th, and great seats are still available. Don't miss out on opening week celebration at Globe Life Park. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Now, Rougned Odor to start things off. It'll be Odor, Robinson, Chirinos, and Leonis Martin. Scoreless ball game, in part thanks to an excellent relay throw that the Rangers had to end the bottom of the second inning. Odor 0 for 5 in the opening series. He has been hit by a pitch, though, a couple of times. Scored one run last night. He takes a bit off the plate. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Kazmir back to the plate. And misses high. 3-0. So Odor trying to get aboard to start things off. Robinson Chirinos, the Ranger catcher, waiting in the on-deck circle. Three and one. That's the extreme upper reaches of the strike zone. And the 3-1 pitch is popped up. Semien, the shortstop, puts that away. There's one gone. And we'll go back to that relay that ended the bottom of the second inning as Brett Lowry tried to stretch a double into a triple.
Well, he's got 2 pretty good throwers that he's got to beat to third base. Martin threw it over the cutoff man's head, but that's why you've got a trailer behind the cutoff man. He was right there to field it. That was Elvis. And Elvis had a short throw to third base. It was an easy throw. Lowry was out by a mile. And that's not a real good base running play. The benefit of getting to third base with 2 outs is not worth the risk involved. You're better off staying at second. You're already in scoring position to begin with. You don't gain that much, and what you lose is the inning's over and the hitter doesn't get to hit with a man in scoring position.
Maybe Lowry is so excited about making contact after striking out 4 times last night he forgot where he was.
Well, I think he was pretty excited. He got into a situation where he was going to get a fastball last couple of pitches, and he drilled that fastball. But for the rest of the game, he may not get that same fastball.
Robinson Chirinos lets one go. It's a foul bat. but it's a long foul bat.
This is about as good a combination fastball changeup as you'll see. 93 to 95 mile an hour fastballs and changeups that are probably 15 miles an hour slower, and they look the same coming out of his hand.
That's got to seem to a hitter like the ball just never gets there.
Yeah, it's a very difficult combination. At least with a breaking ball, you can see the ball break a little bit and have an idea it's not a fastball. Changeup comes in and looks exactly like the fastball, just 15 miles an hour slower.
Well, there's the one that's 15 miles an hour faster, that fastball, and Torinos couldn't pull the trigger.
Well, Robinson took that one. The Rangers have swung and missed 8 times already.
Now batting.
They either have been a little bit early on the changeup or a little bit late on the fastball. And it's as good a fastball as we've seen Kazmir have since the days you described with Tampa Bay, Buzz. He's popping that fastball around 94 miles an hour every time right now.
Now here's Leonis Martin, who has the only hit against Kazmir. That was a bunt base hit leading off that first inning. Matter of fact, it was the first pitch that he saw. Kazmir since has struck out 5 of the ensuing 8 hitters. Leonis thinking about bunt again. He had both Canna and Lowry coming down the lines from third and first.
If he can bunt it, towards second, make the first baseman field it, he's going to beat Kazmir to first base. They can know he's going to bunt. They still can't stop it if he lays down a good bunt.
2-1. Kazmir about ready to unload his 40th pitch of the night. Two balls and 2 strikes to Martin. Leonis with that bunt single in the first, now 3 out of 10 in the series. .354 on base percentage when he was leading off last year. That was 4th among the leadoff hitters. Kazmir was a fastball right on by. Kazmir struck out 6 in the first 3 frames. Rangers gone in order after 2.5. No score. Rangers and A's. Base hit, our T-Mobile game changer will take you back to 1974. And Hammer and Hank Aaron, on this date, it is 715th home run, which at that time was the all-time record. He beat Babe Ruth's record of 714. And that historic home run off Al Downing in Atlanta that night. Here's Josh Phegley, and he loops a pitch down the right field line. It's falling fast and foul. Well, Phegley trying to dump one in and missed by a couple of feet. Will come back to home plate.
Boy, from up here, Buzz, those balls down the right field line like that look like they're going to be fair all the way.
Yeah.
From our angle.
It's a different perspective with all that foul territory. I mean, yeah, you're right. It looks like everything you hit out there is going to be fair.
Yeah.
Big league last year, majority of the year at AAA, and 23 home runs, skies to center. Leonis Martin camps under it for out number 1. Well, before Marcus Semien comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break. Here's John Radigan. John.
Shortstop, number 10, Marcus Semien.
All right, John, thank you. Marcus Semien 1 out of 7 in the series. Also coming over from the White Sox via the trade that sent Jeff Smarja to Chicago. To right field, that is by Rougned Odor, and in for a single. Second Oakland hit against Ross Detweiler. Semien on with 1 out for Tyler Leydendorf.
Pretty good fastball. He kind of fought it off with an inside-out swing and sliced it by second base, but decent fastball inside part of the plate. Just snuck it by Rougned for that base hit.
Now here's Tyler Leydendorf getting the start at second base tonight. This is first foray to the major league level. This is a major league debut. Last year at Sacramento, he had 297. His position has been blocked for the A's here for a number of years. Takes that pitch in for a strike. Leydendorf attended Howard Community College in Texas at Big Spring. 1-1 pitch is off the plate inside. Leydendorf, originally Minnesota Twins draftee back in 2008. Was traded over here to Oakland for Orlando Cabrera in cash back in 2009. Chopper foul outside third. We'll come back and try it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Leydendorf, a 27-year-old. Grew up in Des Plaines, Illinois. Semien, the runner at first, as Detweiler checks in. Another one in on the fist. Leydendorf figures to be one of the guys that, well, may be on the bubble when Josh Reddick gets healthy. The A's expect Reddick, their normal right fielder, to be back available this coming weekend. Leydendorf might be the one whose roster spot Reddick takes. This one into the gap in left center. That is going to plug it and go to the wall. Semien turning on the Jets. He's coming around third. He will score into third. The RBI triple is Tyler Leydendorf. His first major league hit produces a run, and the A's are on top.
Kind of like Brett Lowry, got a pretty good fastball to hit down and out over the plate. Semien had to fight off a fastball, but this one I think he wanted to get inside. Instead, it caught the middle of the plate, allowed Leydendorf to get the good part of the bat on it. Martin was shading him over in right center field, and so he had no chance to get to this ball. The ball plugs the gap for an RBI.
A single, triple, produces a run. Now the Rangers pull the infield all the way in with Craig Gentry at the plate. Leidendorf at third, just one out, and Gentry flied out to left field his first time. Detweiler working from the stretch. Inside, it hit him. And not only hit Gentry, it ricocheted. Got a pretty good piece of Robinson Chirinos. Chirinos trying to tell Kevin Harmon, I'm all right. And Mike Maddox going to take this opportunity to go out and talk to Ross Detweiler.
It's going to glance off the leg, it looked like, of Gentry, and it's going to hit Robinson. Looking like it hit him in the left shoulder.
Mike out there trying to settle things down, give Detweiler a chance to catch his breath. Runners at the corners and one out.
And the good part about the hit by pitch, it sets up a double play. Maybe turn a double play and get out of the inning with only one run.
You're part of that discussion out there centered on keeping Gentry close too. And
yeah,
Gentry with his speed at first, very definitely a base stealing threat.
Gentry got on last night early in the game, had an opportunity to go, and against Kobe Lewis stayed at first, never could get the jump to go.
Detweiler drops in that big breaking ball to Cody Ross for strike one. Ross hit a ground ball to second his first time up there. Top of the strike zone. Something that both pitchers have employed. Jim Wolf calling the balls and strikes tonight. Wolf, by the vote of the players, always one of the best ball strike umpires in the major leagues. Oh, and 1 the count. Slowly hit to third. It's a foul ball. The throw home would have been in time to get the sliding Leidendorf, but immediately called a foul ball by third base umpire Doug Eddings.
That would have been a nice play too by Adam Rosales, catching it on the run. That's pretty close to being a fair ball. Just kind of kicked to the left when it looked like it might have hit the corner of the grass. Yeah, it did hit the edge of the grass, and that allowed it to go foul. Otherwise, I think that if it hit the grass all the way, probably would have stayed fair.
Yeah. Yep.
Slides right into the bat.
Well, the count is 0-2. Ross back to the plate. Detweiler trying to work around some difficulty, prevent any further damage in the run column. Get a look from pretty close to right down the line. You can see that last little kick you were talking about, Tom, that just went straight right as we were looking at it. That'll play to the right side. He's still 0-2.
It looks like Ross would be a fairly hard guy to run on with that short step he takes toward home plate. He gets rid of the ball fairly quickly to the plate. He's thrown over a couple of times. Gentry has not been inclined to try to steal in this situation. Man on third base and 1 out. Keeps you out of the double play, but if you're thrown out, it takes away the sacrifice fly.
That ball is by the dive of Rosales into left field, a base hit. Leidendorf scores. The second is Gentry, and Cody Ross just in onto the active roster today, signing as a free agent, delivers an RBI base hit, and the A's have a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Ross is making a pretty good salary with Arizona, somewhere around $9 or $10 million. They released him, and they owe his salary, the whole thing, except for the minimum salary. The A's will have to pay him only the minimum salary. There's a curveball, stayed up, caught the middle of the plate, and Ross was able to hit the ball pretty solidly right by Adam Rosales.
Well, the A's out in front here in the third inning. still have just one out, and then Zobrist is the hitter. Zobrist grounded out to short in the first inning. A bunt, and he pops it up. Easy play for Robinson Chirinos.
Boy, for a veteran guy, I think he's going to go back to the bench wondering about how wise it was to have the third place hitter line up bunt right there. I don't think that's why they acquired him, but thank you very much. Yeah, he could say, well, the third baseman was playing back. Fine. Thanks for bunting.
If I'm a pitcher, I applaud him the whole way.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. No, 2 gone, and here's Billy Butler. Butler struck out as he led off the second inning.
Yeah, the only time that I think it would be a decent play to bunt men on first and second and one out like that might be if you're a 190 hitter hitting in front of a real good hitter. You figure, well, I don't have a good chance of getting a hit. At least I'll load the bases for the next guy. But when you're the third place hitter, one of the best hitters on the team, I think most managers would want you to swing the bat right there.
And you've had 4 consecutive hitters reach base.
Yeah.
That's not the best time to break up that kind of a roll.
And it's surprising, really, to see Zobrist, the one that did that. I don't think if it was Ichiro or someone like that.
2-1. Your buddy Ichiro. We're not going to see him this year. He's down in Miami.
That's right. When he bunted with men on first and second, 2 outs in a 1-run game, that was kind of mind-boggling.
Well, Butler now the advantage in the count at 3 balls and a strike. Gentry the lead from second. He was trailed by Cody Ross at first. A chopper foul, so now both runners with a full count at 2 outs will be off and moving with the next Detweiler pitch. If Butler is able to extend this inning, Mark Canha is waiting in the on-deck circle. Detweiler now with a long inning here. He's got that pitch total up to 48. High ball 4, and that will load him up. So 3 hits, a hit batter, and a walk. 2 runs across, bases full. Canha coming up.
First baseman, 20, Mark Canha.
Ross Detweiler trying to regroup mentally on the mound. Canha fouled out to Robinson Chirinos in the second inning. One ball, no strikes. Boy, here's where a pitcher really has to be careful, because the more pitches you throw in an inning, it seems like the worse your command becomes. You almost start being happy with throwing one down the middle, and that's when you really get a lot of runs scored against you. You'll need to focus on making quality pitches, even though things are not going your way.
And Ross has thrown about the same amount of pitches here in the third inning as he did in the first 2 innings. Trying to get that last out, get back in the dugout.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bases full of A's, a couple of runs across here in the third. Misses inside. It's 2-1. Canha also making his major league debut tonight. Much like Tyler Leydendorf, who had the RBI triple to get the scoring started. Well hit right center field. Leonis Martin on the run, back at the wall. He reaches, it is off the wall, off the very top. That is going to unload the bases. 3 runs across, A 3-run double for Mark Canha, and the A's lead it 5-0. Boy, that ball really carried.
Yeah, it looked like he got a changeup out over the plate and waited on it and just drove it. Hit that ball pretty well. Canha's a Rule 5 draft pick who hit 20 home runs last year in AAA, so he's got some power. First major league hit. We've seen a couple of them tonight. Leidendorf had a triple in this inning for his first major league hit and drove in a run. Bob Melvin's going to check and make sure that that ball wasn't out of the ballpark. Looked like it hit right on top of the wall. And another, as you were talking about, Buzz, a lot of pitches may lead to bad location. And that pitch was right near the center of the plate. Fastball or changeup, not sure what kind of a pitch it was, but it was driven very well to right center field, about 388 feet.
Now the umpire is going to get together and talk this over. It's up to them now if they want to take a look at the replay to judge whether the ball left the ballpark or not.
I don't know what else it could have hit back there to be a home run. Is there anything back there?
I don't think so.
Looked like it just hit the top of the wall.
That's what I thought too, but you never know. There's everything back there is painted green, including the wall, and I think the thought might have been, well, maybe it hit a support structure or something back there, but we'll take a look. And we can see on that replay, there it is right off the corner of the wall.
There it is. That's going to be a double. I guess it could hit that little support right next to it in the back. I don't know if that's a home run or not.
The post
there. But it didn't hit the post, hit the top of the wall.
Yeah, I would think those posts supporting the wall, not the big concrete one, but the post that supports the wall would be part of the wall,
I would too. That's why I was wondering what it could possibly have hit to be a home run.
You mentioned umpire discretion. Manager can request that the umpires take a look, but he can't challenge it to make them take a look. And they've decided that, yeah, they'll go ahead and take a look after getting together. And just to make sure that their ruling was correct, that the ball was off the wall and never did leave the field of play. In any event, Canha with a shot that unloaded the bases and really puts a damper on things for Ross Detweiler and the Rangers. And it's now a 5-0 game. And it is a double. Crew Chief Bill Miller letting everybody know that that's what it is. And now Jeff Bannister has come out, and he is getting a further clarification from Bill Miller. And it was given to him, so everybody understands what the situation was. It'll be a double, but it's a 3-run double. And with Canha at second, it's going to bring up Brett Lowry. Lowry doubled his first time up. So 5 runs across in the inning. And a big breaking ball in for strike 1. Lowry now 2 out of 9 in the series. Nothing in 2. Hayes felt that Lowry would give them probably an upgrade as far as consistency on defense compared to Josh Donaldson. Certainly not in Donaldson's offensive mode, but a scrappy player that fits in with the A's kind of motif. Elvis on the fielder, side retired. But Oakland comes up with 5 runs on 5 hits and strands 1. We'll go to the 4th inning. It is now 5-0 Oakland. Rangers taking on the Angels, and come on out to Globe Life Park for the last game of opening week. Enjoy ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. Visit TexasRangers.com for tickets, or you can call 972-RANGERS if you prefer. Well, Rangers have some work to do here. They are trailing now 5-0, and Elvis Andrus to start things off. It'll be Andrus, Beltre, and Fielder to face Scott Kazmir.
Five runs looks like a lot of runs the way Kazmir's thrown in the first 3 innings. He's been virtually untouchable. Leon has had a bunt single, first hitter of the game, and since then, not much. A lot of strikeouts, though.
6 of them, to be exact, and Elvis takes one. Elvis had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. Andrus, 56 career runs scored against Oakland. It's the second most against any opponent in his career.
There was a bunch of shutouts on opening day. I think there was 5 or 6 of them. 5 shutouts today. 4 shutouts were by the score of 2-0. And Washington beat the Mets 2-1, so there's almost 5 of them. A lot of good pitching performances the first several days of the season. I guess it's tough to gauge. You know, you look at opening day, you've got #1 starters pitching, so the games are probably going to be, for the most part, lower scoring than normal.
Flagging that down, 1 away.
But on opening day, there were 6 games in less than 2 hours and 35 minutes. And there were a couple of games under 3 hours. And there was only 4 games as high as 3 hours and 4 minutes. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the new pace of play. I think the 2:30 between innings and the hitter being ready to hit, I think that's going to speed the game up. It looks like it's going to do that. But probably more than anything, it was the fact that there was really good pitching, not as much hitting, and lower scoring games.
Adrian Beltre hits a rope out to left field, but it's right into the glove of Ben Zobrist for out number 2.
You know, last year and years before, there were so many times where we would come back at the end of an inning and we'd talk for, 15, 20, 30 seconds waiting for the hitter to get in the box.
Yep.
And, they're going to come out and look at Kazmir, huh? Anyway, if it's 20 or 30 seconds between each half an inning and it adds up to 30 seconds to a minute each inning over the course of 9 innings, that could be anywhere from, 4 to 6 or 7 minutes if it holds that way.
Well, speaking of opening day, make your plans now to join us for complete coverage of Rangers home opener. That's coming up Friday. We've got a 3-hour pregame featuring Jeff Bannister, our own Mark McLemore, and Pudge Rodriguez. Tailgating at the ballpark, the Fox Sports Southwest girls, and a whole lot more for you. It all gets started at noon on Friday, and it takes you right up until first pitch, which is at 3 o'clock, and it's only on Fox Sports Southwest. Checking on Kazmir, apparently satisfied that he's okay, and 2 outs for Prince Fielder, who takes a strike. Fielder got handled pretty efficiently by Kazmir the first time, threw a fastball up high and by him for the first strikeout of the game. Since then, Kazmir's added 5 more strikeouts. 1 ball, 1 strike. 31-year-old left-hander from the Houston area. Sounds like that little bit of a cut on the changeup. 1-2. Now the count evens up to Prince Fielder. Just watching Fielder swinging the bat this year, boy, he's really able to let things go. And Kazmir staying away from the power part of that swing of Prince Fielder's. That's all the way to the backstop.
Yeah, he might be feeling a little something out there. The trainer came out to look at him, and That ball really got away from him. It's funny, the first time up against Prince, he threw a lot of high fastballs. Got Prince to chase a high fastball for strike 3. This at bat, he's trying to throw everything down and away. Yeah, pretty good cluster of pitches, about 6 inches outside or more.
Payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. The fielder draws the 2-out walk. He is aboard, just the second base runner allowed by Kazmir tonight.
Number 16, Ryan.
Looks like he might be having a little back problem.
That's what it looks like.
Kind of standing straight up a lot. The fielder aboard, Ryan Rua, who went down swinging the first time that he faced Kazmir, will step in. Changeup and a foul tip for strike 1. Rua now 1 for 8 in the series. Ryan checking with third base coach Tony Beasley to see what might be going on. Beasley gave him the double sign. See if he picked that one up. No. The changeup. 0-2.
Is he throwing 2 different changeups?
Yeah.
Like one is 87, 88, and one is much slower than that.
Yeah, it looks like the harder one he's putting a little cut on. Now, I don't know if he added a cut fastball, and I'm not sure if that's the cut fastball. What he says is the cut fastball. There's the good fastball at 93, and Rua gone. And so are the Rangers. No runs. The Walker left stranded. We played 3.5. It's the A's 5, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by the Mazda 6. J.D. Power has awarded the Mazda 6 highest ranked vehicle appeal among mid-size cars. Well, the A's batted around in the 3rd inning, so Josh Phegley, who started off that 3rd, will lead off the 4th. Tapper up the middle, behind the bag, Elvis off balance throw. Oh, Prince can't dig it out of the dirt. It'll be an infield single for Josh Phegley. Elvis playing way over in the hole, had a long way to go to even get to that ball.
Yeah, Elvis made a nice play. He's got to catch it on a short hop, which is not easy, and then fire it kind of against his body going toward right field. The throw was a little bit low. Prince gets his glove on it, but couldn't quite dig it out of the dirt. Nice try by Elvis.
You get an idea looking at that replay in real speed exactly how little time Elvis had to catch the ball and make the transfer and throw. Well, the base hit, the fifth of the night against Ross Detweiler. One on, nobody out. Marcus Semien, who had the first base hit. That was, or second base hit, I should say. That was the first hit in the third up there now. Talking about Ross Detweiler coming over from the National League, from Washington to the American League. That probably is the most difficult transition the pitchers have had to make in recent years, anyway. Got a little graphic for you. We'll show you the struggles that pitchers have had coming over from the National League to the American League of late, since 2010. In the first month that they make the transition, their ERA is almost 5 and a 29-42 record. And then it gets better. The second and third time around that they see the teams, they improve in the middle of the season. But then as the season goes on, hitters have seen them for a while, and the hitters start making adjustments, and it goes back into the hitters' favor. You look at September, that ERA is up over 5. So it doesn't bode well on average for pitchers coming from the National League to the American League.
I would say, just without knowing anything about stats, if you're coming from the National League to the American League and you go from facing the pitcher to the DH, it's going to be a little harder for you to get through the lineup than it was in the National League.
And people say, well, that's only one place in the lineup. It makes a huge difference.
Sure does.
Lineups are constructed differently in the American League and the National League, and there isn't that one spot that you can kind of pitch toward that you figure, I've got an out that I can get in there somewhere.
It's only one spot in the lineup, but it's usually someone batting third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh, right in the middle of the lineup.
Exactly.
It's not like you've replaced the pitcher with another ninth place hitter. You're replacing them on most teams with one of the better hitters on the team.
Semien draws the walk. The second free pass issued by Detweiler tonight. 2 on, nobody out. Tyler Leidendorf, who had an RBI triple to get the scoring started in the third inning, will face Detweiler for the second time. For Leidendorf, his first major league at bat resulted in a run scoring triple. Take strike 1. Well, I guess that's just about as good a first impression as you can make, huh?
I would say so. He heard you talking about he might be on the bubble to get sent down. He said, well, if I am, I'm going to make it tough for him.
Make him make a decision. Logan Verrett.
Well, this is the exact spot that the Rangers acquired Logan for. If the starter is in trouble early and won't be able to give you a lot of innings, then Logan would be the first guy out of the bullpen with the hopes that he could give innings and not just be a one-inning guy. Maybe go as many as 2, 3, or 4 innings, depending on pitch count, and be one of those guys that can help you save the bullpen and not have to use 3 or 4 guys. He's been a starting pitcher before, stretched out a little bit in spring training.
High and tight, and that straightens up Tyler Leidendorf. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got Fegley at second. Marcus Semien trailing him at first base. Nobody out here in the 4th. Into the hole. Elvis going to go to third for the force, and it's dropped by Rosales. Adam was trying to make the catch and find the bag at the same time, and then he got crossed up, dropped the ball. Everybody's safe.
Yeah, it's a tough play for the third baseman because his first step is toward the ball, and he's not expecting the throw. Elvis is only going to get one, so he chose to get the lead runner. Makes a good throw, but you're exactly right, Buzz. As Adam looks down to find the bag, the ball gets there. His eye is off the ball, and he's not quite able to catch it. Difficult play for the third baseman. Elvis made a good play, just wasn't able to convert it.
That's going to be a fielder's choice to allow Leidendorf to reach. An error on the drop throw charged to Adam Rosales. Elvis, that was really the only play that Elvis had.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough to get Semien, who runs pretty good at second base anyway.
Well, base is full of A's once again, and back to the top of the order for the third time. And Greg Gentry is up there. Gentry has flied out and been hit by a pitch. In at the knees for strike 1. Gentry now 0 for 8 in the series. Although when he was hit by a pitch in the third, he came around to score for Oakland. Good breaking ball from Detweiler, drops in. 0-2. Rangers playing the infield back, with the exception of Fielder at first, is in right at the cut of the grass. Up the middle, and picked off nicely, and safe at first base as Fielder couldn't get his feet back together to tag the bag as he caught the throw from Detweiler. But great reactions by Ross Detweiler to flag down that ball back up the middle.
Yeah, Ross made the play. He looked at second first. The runner at second was fairly close to second base, then looked to first. He had a pretty good shot at Leidendorf. And then Prince was kind of in the same position that Adam was in, trying to get back to first, catch the throw, and also make the tag at the same time. The runners hold pretty good at second and third. The runner at first is off quite a bit, and just not quite able to convert that into a double play. But converted what looked like a base hit up the middle into an out anyway.
Exactly. So 1 out, and now Cody Ross will come up with the bases still loaded. Ross 1 out of 2 in his Oakland debut. He had a single and an RBI, also a run scored last inning, and he takes strike 1. Cody Ross, we mentioned, postseason hero for the San Francisco Giants back in 2010. Also had a real good year that Ranger fans will remember for Boston. In 2012 had 22 home runs for the Red Sox. Hit 267 that year. Also been with the Dodgers, with Florida, most recently with Arizona. Detweiler back to him. That's off the glove and all the way to the backstop. Here comes the throw to Detweiler, not in time. Sliding in is Josh Phegley. And on the wild pitch, the A's take a 6-0 lead.
Let's take a look at it. He's looking for the ball down and in. It's up and away. Went off the glove of Robinson Chirinos, and I think, Buzz, they call it a pass ball.
Sure did.
Not an easy play for the catcher when he's looking for it down and in, but he was able to get the glove on it, and that's why you saw it called a pass ball.
And the pitcher, in that case, has to get on the other side of the plate. Detweiler, you saw come in, he was on the first base side of the plate. You got to get on the third base side, where when you get the throw, you can apply a tag. You can't reach across the plate the way that Ross tried to do it.
Yeah, Ross today retired the first 5 hitters of the game. He's on a pretty good roll. And then actually got the next hitter. Lowry doubled, was thrown out at third base. So he only faced 6 hitters in the first 2 innings.
Here's another look at that. See, Detweiler's over in the left-handed hitter's batter's box, and once you catch the ball, then you're trying to reach way over to the other side. You got to get on the other side of the plate, so that when you catch the throw, all you have to do is drop the glove down. You got the runner right in line with your glove. 2-2. Got him swinging. Change up, and Ross down on strikes. So they're 2 gone now for Ben Zobrist. Detweiler, his second strikeout of the evening. Well, the Ranger infield now backs up to normal depth. Zobrist, you'll remember last time, was up with a couple of runners on and tried to bunt his way aboard and get a pop foul on the bunt to Chirinos. Boy, Detweiler flagging that rope down right back up the middle and underhands the fielder, and that'll do it. So the damage minimized. The A's get a run on 1 hit. There was an error and 2 men are left after 4. 6-0 Oakland.
as we head into the top of the 5th. Well, it started in spring training, and it's been quite clear over the first couple of days of this season that Prince Fielder is healthy and happy. He says he is significantly more comfortable with his surroundings and his teammates, and this is second year with the Texas Rangers, and no doubt health a very big part of that. No longer in pain, no unexplained tightness, says he feels stronger than ever before. Such a sense of relief he had to have last year officially behind him, even taking on a bit more of a leadership role this year as well, mentoring the rookie Keone Kela already this season, and all of that has his team buzzing about the kind of year he is poised to have. Buzz and Tom, he is swinging freely and smiling more freely as well these days.
Good points, Dan. It's really fun to watch him do that.
Yeah, I think last night was a great example of how good he's feeling. There's a guy that's knocked in as many runs as the top 5 or 6 guys in baseball over the last 7 or 8 years, and he gets his first 2 RBIs of the season as a Ranger, and pounded his hands together after both RBIs. So he's feeling pretty good about that.
Yep.
It's pretty easy for a guy with all those runs knocked in not to be that thrilled about it.
Oh, what a play by Lowry and a great play by Canna. Both ends of that to get Jake Smolinski starting off the 5th inning.
Yep, he's playing right on the line. You watch that ball come off the bat, and you say there's a double down the line. You look up, you see Lowry's right on top of the line. And still has to dive, gets up quickly, strong throw, and not that easy a throw to pick at first base by Canna. The ball was pretty close to him, but he stayed right with it and made the play. Very nice play all the way. You're right, Buzz, all the way around.
So one rather spectacular out by the Oakland A's, and Adam Rosales will come up. And we talked about what Lowry brings to the A's, and you got a good idea of it there. He is an outstanding defensive third baseman. Rosales takes that changeup, comes in at the knees, and count now is no balls and 2 strikes. Adams struck out his first time up. Kazmir was 7 strikeouts through the first 4 1/3 here tonight. Call strike 3, make that 8 strikeouts. Rosales knew it. He's headed back to the dugout.
Well, Kazmir is definitely at the top of his game tonight. He's painting the corners with his fastball. He's mixed in an excellent changeup. Might be a little cut fastball that he's also mixing in from time to time, but basically it's been fastball changeup. 40 strikes, 21 balls. Pretty strong performance so far.
Rougned Odor, a pop out to short, takes the first pitch strike. Kazmir has gone from being a house painter as far as painting the corners to an artiste. Rembrandt right on the outside and inside corners. He's ahead of the count. No balls and 2 strikes to Rougned.
Well, the Rangers have faced some tough pitching in this series. They caught Sonny Gray at the top of his game on opening day, and now they're catching Scott Kazmir at the top of his game in the 3rd game.
And both those guys started off the same way last year too. And you remember Gray had the great month of April when he was the pitcher of the month in the American League. Kazmir,
he was pretty good
too.
You
talked about it, Tom. Started off 9-2 at the All-Star break and 12-3, I think, overall for his first 15 decisions.
Yeah.
They don't look to be changing much coming into 2015. The 1-2 pitch.
When you look at their rotation, you see Sonny Gray start the first game and Kazmir the 3rd. It's probably to break up the 2 rookies, Jesse Hahn and Kendall Graveman. I think that Bob Melvin would rather have Gray followed by a rookie and then Kazmir, as opposed to Gray and Kazmir back to back and then the 2 young guys. I'm not sure if Hahn's a rookie or not. He was up for quite a bit of time last year with San Diego, but at least in his first full season.
Call strike 3.
Oh, he's tough.
Not much you can do there to pull the trigger. 9 strikeouts for Kazmir. Halfway through the ball game, 86, Rangers nothing. Fox Sports Southwest. Houston Astros, and the first 15,000 fans in attendance also get a Red Rangers cap, courtesy of AT&T. So come on out to Globe Life Park for opening week and get your cap. Purchase tickets at TexasRangers.com. Ross Detweiler back to the hill to start the fifth inning, facing Billy Butler, and ball one misses. Butler 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. After he walked in the third inning, he came around to score. Fastball tails back to the inside corner for strike one. Butler 2 out of 9 in the series. He has scored a couple of runs. Rosales cuts it off. One gone. And before Mark Canha comes up, we'll take time here for a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. Mark Canha, who delivered the big blow in that third inning, a 3-run double high off the wall in right center field. Canha's first major league hit, first major league RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hit to center field. Canha is 2 for 3. He is aboard now for Brent Lowry.
That was a great opportunity for Canha. He's 26 years old. He was left off a major league roster. And the Rule 5 draft certainly worked in his favor. He was with Florida's AAA team last year. Was actually picked by Colorado and then traded immediately to Oakland, who assumed the same rules of the Rule 5 draft, that he has to be in the big leagues this year. Based on the way he's hit a left-hander in his first opportunity, looks pretty good.
Lowry picking on a hanging breaking ball, and he drives it to right for a single. And there's the first one he made contact with the last couple nights, and Lowry got one that stayed up for him. No, back-to-back singles with one out.
I think if you went back tonight and saw replays of virtually every hit that Ross has given up, you'd probably see that the A's are taking advantage of pitches near the middle of the plate. Several of the curveballs that have been hit have been up and near the middle of the plate, and the fastballs that have been hit as well. Obviously not trying to throw the ball there, trying to hit the corners, but when he's missed toward the middle of the plate, that's when the A's have had pretty good swings at it. Canna's triple was definitely like that. Double, 3-run double out over the plate was definitely like that. That was the biggest hit of the third inning.
Jeff Bannister, Steve Buscella right next to him. Keeping an eye on things. No action in the Ranger bullpen at the moment. But Ross Detweiler trying to work things out for himself here in the 5th inning.
In the first game of the season, Giovanni had good stuff. He had pretty good sinking fastball, threw some good breaking balls, but he had the same problem. He wasn't able to locate his pitches like he normally would.
Inside and low, 2-0.
The pitches where he's trying to get the ball in, keep the ball down, have just gone out of the strike zone. And when he's had to throw a strike, it's been a pretty good pitch to hit.
Josh Fagley, 1 out of 2, an infield single his last time up. Off the end of the bat. And the count is 2-1. Looking for it. Again, up and loosening. Popped up. Pitch fielder drifting into foul territory. Ball drops as Prince kind of got his feet crossed up. Get Odor over there to say something to the big guy. One of those evenings, apparently.
Yeah, one of those evenings.
They're going to give Prince an error on that misplay.
It looked like Prince saw the ball all the way, but then just as he tried to lean back to catch the ball, just got his feet tangled up a little bit. Wasn't able to come up with it.
The second Ranger error of the night, the 4th error committed by the ball club in the first 3 games. And a looper to right, that's in for a base hit. Canna will be held at third. Smolinski gets the ball back in quickly, but the error immediately comes back to cause problems for the Rangers. Bases loaded now with 1 out for Marcus Semien. And another one of those balls, Tom, you're talking about that stayed up and out over the plate.
Yeah, I think when Ross goes back and looks at the tape of this, he'll recognize, he probably already knows it, that he's just had trouble locating the ball where he wants to on the corners to make it tough for the hitter. And when he's missed, they've taken advantage of it.
Once again, the base is full. Semien 1 for 1 officially. He has singled and walked and takes ball 1. Semien, another one of those A's that came over in that Jeff Samardzija deal with the White Sox. Installed as the starting shortstop for the A's. Tapper flagged down, knocked down. There will be no play for Detweiler. In to score is Canna. And things are really going right for the A's and wrong for the Rangers. 7-0.
But that ball's a foot lower. Ross, who's tall to begin with, catches the ball, probably throws home and back to first base for a double play.
Yep.
As it was, all he could do is get the ball, the glove on the ball and knock it down, and still went for a base hit.
As it turns out, that's going to be the last play for Ross Detweiler here tonight. And a difficult one to leave on, but he will indeed leave, trailing 7-0. Logan Verrett coming out of the bullpen to take over. We'll tell you all about the right-hander when we come back on Fox Sports. Are back for this season. Come on out to show your school spirit while you cheer on the Rangers. Schools involved this year: Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State, SMU, and North Texas. Just go to TexasRangers.com/UDays to get more information. And speaking of universities, how about the Baylor ex Logan Verrett on now to take over? And he inherits a bases-loaded, one-out situation. Verrett appeared in just one exhibition game for the Rangers after being claimed on a waiver deal from the Baltimore Orioles. Rule 5 draft. Rangers claimed him and accepted the Rule 5 situation with Verrett. He deals strike one to Tyler Leitendorf.
We were talking about Ross Detweiler and how happy he was to come over to the Rangers and get an opportunity to pitch in a starting rotation. Logan Verrett was extremely pleased. He lives in the area. To come to one of the Texas teams, get a little bit closer to home, and obviously even more happy to be in the big leagues as a Rule 5 player. There'll be better games ahead for Ross Detweiler. First one under his belt, and he'll be better next time out.
Chopper off the bat, Rosales to second. The return throw not in time. Leitendorf able to leg out. Looked like the Rudin might have had a little hesitation getting the ball out of his glove, and that was just enough. In to score, Brett Lowry. And it's now an 8-0 Oakland lead.
Big hop makes it a fairly tough play to turn. Rubned had a little bit of trouble getting out of his glove, but a pretty athletic play to throw and jump at the same time, and got a lot on his throw. Just wasn't quick enough to get Langendorf, who got down the line so well. Gonna have a challenge here. Looked like a pretty close play at first base.
Well, there will be a challenge with crew chief Bill Miller and the first base umpire Adam Amari going over to put the headsets on, get in touch with the replay command center back in New York. They're challenging that the runner was safe at first base, and Rangers trying to say no, he wasn't. Doggone it, he was out.
Well, let's see.
Yeah,
I think the Rangers are going to lose that one.
Yeah, unless he didn't touch the first base.
Did he? Let's take another look. Did he touch the base? Let's see.
That's always a requisite, isn't it?
Yeah, you do have to touch the base.
You know, that I'm not sure of. Pretty tough to tell from.
I thought he touched it with his toe. Yeah, he touched it. There's the emphatic call by Adam Hamari, who had a good look at it. We'll see if it's confirmed. Oh, I don't know, Buzz.
Yeah, up on the scoreboard now.
You saw it on the scoreboard. He missed it and then dragged it on the bag as he went by it.
And they're going to say he's safe.
Still beat it, though.
Yeah.
He's going to touch the base, but not originally. He comes down in front of the base and drags his foot on the base.
So the call stands, which means there was not clear and convincing evidence to overturn it.
Running on the field.
It took 1 minute and 27 seconds for the folks at the replay command center to make that determination. No, the Rangers, so far this year, 0 for 2 on challenges. So an 8-0 Oakland lead. Runners at first and third. Craig Gentry at the plate. Takes strike one.
Watch him miss the base and then drag it on the base as he goes by the base. That's not the last view right there. That's where he missed it, but he actually touched it a split second later.
Short hop pickup by Rosales to second.
Get over there, Ruben.
Just get the sliding Leidendorf, and that will do it. But the A's add on 2 more runs. On 3 hits, there were a couple of errors in the inning. Now we'll go to the 6th. It's now 8-0 Oakland. Tonight's jackpot worth $300 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Darlene Connor from Louisville. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Darlene Connor of Louisville is going to be very happy and $25,000 richer. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Robinson Chirinos will start things off in our Sonic Slam inning. Then Leonis Martin and Elvis Andrus. Rangers still looking to break through against Scott Kazmir, who has been tough. There's 66 pitches for the left-hander through the first 5 innings with 9 strikeouts. Chirinos called out on strikes his first time.
Kazmir's high strikeout total was 8 years ago, 13 strikeouts with Tampa Bay in this park against Oakland.
Sky high fly ball to Craig Gentry in center for out number 1. Let's go back to the challenge that was thrown out there by Jeff Bannister the play at first base.
Well, here's where we're going to show you where he missed the base, but just so you know that he touched it, as he goes by the base, he drags his foot over the base. Now, evidently, when they looked at the replay, they concluded that that all happened before the ball got there.
Or that touching it with your toe pad.
Toe pad counted?
Toe pad counted, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the toe pad was touching it when his first foot came down. When his foot first came down. Is it touching it?
Toe pad's loose right there. See it touching the bag. I don't know if that's right or not. It's part of the equipment, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he looked safe by a mile. And so maybe there was time for his foot to miss and come over and touch the bag as he ran by the bag before the ball got there anyway.
Could have.
I think they had a better look at it when they saw it all.
Well, Leonis Martin led the game off with a bunt single. That has been the only hit garnered by the Rangers against Scott Kazmir tonight. Hit pretty well to right field. Going back is Ross. And in front of the warning track, he makes the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, Kazmir's only thrown 70 pitches, so he's struck out 9 in the ball game, but he's still been very economical with his pitches. He's only walked 1 batter. That was Prince Fielder back in the 4th inning. That was really the only batter where the ball got away from him. Threw a couple of pitches way out of the strike zone. Other than that, he's been throwing it pretty much right where he wants to.
He's had several 3-pitch strikeouts tonight that I can think of.
Yeah.
Elvis takes strike 1. Andrews a sacrifice bunt in the 1st. Last time up, leading off the 4th. To Tapper back to the mound. Oh, a good changeup. He has had that dialed in tonight.
And it's good. It's a good 17 miles an hour slower than his fastball.
0-2 pitch. Elvis over the years now 9 for 33 against Kazmir. Shoots one foul outside the bag down the first baseline. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bagley with the signs. Kazmir back to the plate. 2-2. Changeup stayed up, and Elvis just able to get a piece of it and foul it back.
I guess when you've got a guy throwing like this, when you get that pitch to hit, that's when you better cash in on, because there haven't been many of them. Not many opportunities to hit a pitch like that tonight.
Well, that points out that what you just mentioned, Tom, about the difference, the velocity difference. Even when the ball stays up, it's tough to find.
Yeah, it can still be tough, yeah.
To pop up second base, that's going to do it. Rangers gone in order, and Kazmir now is retired 7 straight. 5.5 in the books. A's 8. Rangers nothing. MLB.com At Bat, #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment and any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and a whole lot more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Logan Verrett back out to the mound. He is starting the 6th inning. Cody Ross takes strike 1. Cody Ross 1 for 3 with an RBI tonight. Came back in the 3rd inning. Verrett nailing down the outside corner, 0-2.
Logan pounding that strike zone. 6 out of 7 of his pitches have been strikes.
Verrett, a Baylor product. He was teammates with Sean Tollison down at Baylor. Line drive sinking and about ankle high for Adam Rosales to pick off his shoe tops.
Got that ball in on him just a little bit. Wasn't the kind of ball that was hit right off the good part of the bat. Still hit pretty hard, but not as hard as it might have been if he caught it on the sweet spot.
Here's Ben Zobrist now. Will turn around and hit from the left side against the righty Verrett. Zobrist 0 for 3 tonight. Verrett kind of a side-saddled start to that windup, and he misses low, 2-0. Logan grew up in the Corpus Christi area. Went to Cal Allen High School. Off the mound, up the middle. Elvis from the ground throws, and it's over the head of Prince Fielder into the Ranger dugout. And that'll send Zobrist down to second. Boy, a great get by Elvis Andrus. But it's going to go down as his 3rd error of the year on the throw to allow Zobrist to go to second base. The single and an E6.
They did a nice job to get to the ball. The ball was hit up the middle, but it hits the mound and goes straight up in the air. Not straight up in the air, but up in the air high enough so Elvis had time to at least get the glove on it. But then the throw became a little problematic from one knee, off balance, and he wasn't able to locate it to Prince.
The Rangers now 4 errors in this ball game. They have 6 errors for the season in the first 3 games. And the first pitch to Billy Butler is inside for ball 1. Butler 0 for 2. Walk and a score in the 3rd inning. Other than that, has struck out and grounded out. Belt high strike to even the count. Mentioned Logan Verrett, only 1 outing for the Rangers this spring. That was in the last exhibition game in Arlington against the New York Mets. Worked a couple of innings. Gave up a run on 3 hits. One on, 1 out here in the 6th.
Based on what we've seen in the first 3 games, that's where I would throw Billy Butler until he shows us that he can lay off it. He's got a little bit of a propensity to go after that low breaking ball down and away.
2-2 pitch. The center field, that is down for a base hit. Zobrist will be held to 3rd. Leonys Martin fires a strike into the cutoff man, but with 1 out now, runners at the corners. And Mark Canha coming up.
It's kind of a fine line between being low and low enough. The one that he fished for before this pitch was down out of the strike zone. That one is a decent pitch. It's down and away, but it's up a little higher, so we could at least get the bat on it. Not a terrible pitch, down and away, just barely in the strike zone. Frank Butler's veteran hitter.
Well, the A's now with 11 hits tonight. Mark Canha has 2 of those 11, a double and a single. He has driven in 3, a wave and a miss. Canha had a 3-run double in the 3rd inning. And in the 5th inning, singled. Came around to score. One ball, one strike. Well, the Rangers and A's will wrap things up here tomorrow afternoon. It'll be Nick Martinez and Kendall Graveman with you at 2:30 Central Time. Drive that deep left field down the line. Rua into the corner. It is off the wall. He can't get it. Zobrist will come in to score. Butler being stopped at 3rd. And Canha with his 2nd run-scoring double of the night makes it a 9-0 Oakland lead. Canha coming about within a foot or so of having his first Major League home run.
Yeah, Canha came within a foot of having 2 home runs in the game. His first home run hit right off the very top of the wall in right center field. It was a 3-run double. This is a breaking ball down. He's a little bit out in front of it. Doesn't have all his power behind it, but he hits it right down the line and hits it right near the top of the wall. So I guess a total of a foot was the difference between 2 doubles and 2 home runs. But quite a debut for Mark Canha. 2 doubles, a single, 3 for 4, and 4 RBIs.
Diving stop by Rosales, scrambles up, throws it late. Lowry able to leg it out as Rosales scrambled to his feet and checked Billy Butler back to 3rd, and that was enough to allow Lowry to leg it out.
In that particular case, he didn't have the time to do it. Lowry hustling all the way, runs well, and beat the strong throw. It's a nice play by Adam. It looked like it might be in the hole, but he dives, smothers the ball, and gets up, and Lowry's able to beat it.
Maddox out quickly to slow things down a bit for Logan Moret. 4 consecutive hits in the inning. 3 singles and a double. The bases once again full of A's, and they've had that situation, seems like every other at bat for the last 4 innings. Josh Phegley, who is 2 for 3, is at the plate. Quick breaking ball from Barrett for strike 1.
Now that's the one that might have gotten Billy Butler. That's the one Billy Butler swung at. And the next one was a good pitch, but not quite that far down. Butler was able to get the bat on it. Phegley aggressive in this situation. Bases loaded and 1 out.
Check swing dribbler foul down the first base side. It's no balls and 2 strikes. I think you're talking about Billy Butler too, and one of the things, Tom, about a good hitter like Butler, you're going to throw him back-to-back breaking balls. The second one has to be better than the first.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be more out of the strike zone, down further.
Yeah.
You know yourself, you see two breaking balls back-to-back, and you kind of time it a little bit in your mind.
Yeah, you wait on it, and then even though it's a decent location, it's in the strike zone, you're able to get the bat on it.
Oh, 2 the count. Phegley had an infield hit in the 4th. Single to right in the 5th inning. Got him swinging.
There you go.
Good pitch down and away that Verrett gets the strikeout. And that's a big one with the bases full. So 2 gone. And Marcus Semien now coming up.
Semien, Lowry, Butler, and now Fegley in this series have all shown that if you get ahead in the count and you throw the ball a hard slider down there, that they will chase it. At least they have in this series so far. Whether or not they'll do it the next time we play them, I guess time will tell.
Semien has reached on an error, walked, and had a base hit. 1 out of 2 officially. Takes that first breaking ball from Logan Barrett that dances in for strike 1. Nothing in 2. Butler, Canna, and Lowry. 3rd, 2nd, and 1st for the A's. A run across here in the 6th. Logan Barrett trying to put a capper on the inning. Semien just able, and he was not able as the appeal down to first. The swing is called by Adam Hamari, and that'll do it. The A's score a run on 4 hits and leave 3. We're going to the 7th. 9-0 Oakland on Fox Sports Southwest. Runs on 13 hits for Oakland. 4 errors thrown in by the Rangers to help out the Oakland cause tonight. Rangers with just 1 hit. Tyler Ladendorf and Mark Canna in the 3rd inning. The damage done. A 3-run double right off the top of the wall by Mark Canna. That came within inches of being out of the ballpark. Tyler Ladendorf preceded that with his first major league hit, a run-scoring triple. So the 2 rookies making their major league debuts, and they have been spectacular tonight. Ladendorf and Canna, and that's a big part of the Oakland offense. The Rangers come to bat here in the 7th inning with Adrian Beltre starting things off. Beltre, Fielder, and Rua. And Scott Kazmir back to the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Adrian hit the ball sharply as last time, line to left field. Another foul. Pitch tailing away from him. Adrian off to an 0 for 9 start. That should not alarm any Ranger fans. You know that Adrian typically a slow starter. That may be his first hit. No, it's knocked down by Semien. Picked up, not in time on the throw to first, and we'll see what the official scorer does with that. Semien getting down the line pretty well. If Semien catches the ball cleanly, he probably throws
Number
out
84,
Beltre.
Prince Fielder.
And that is going to be an error on Marcus Semien.
As Semien got to that ball, it took a nice hop about waist high. He just dropped it.
No, one on, nobody out. Here's Fielder, who has struck out and walked. Nothing in one. A's defensively with Beltre at first don't go into an extreme overshift. You have the left-hander Kazmir on the mound. They don't figure that Prince is likely to pull it nearly as much as when you have a right-hander out there. One ball, one strike to Fielder. Zobrist backing up, camps underneath it, makes the catch for out number one. Beltre back to first. Now Ryan Rua in action in the A's bullpen. Right-hander Dan Otero starting to throw.
Number 16,
One of the
Ryan
better sinker ball
Rua.
pitchers in the league. He did a nice job for the A's out of the bullpen last year.
Kazmir 85 pitches with one out here in the seventh inning. Ryan Rua has struck out both times, and he's faced the left-hander tonight. A good changeup that floats in for strike one. Rua 1 for 9 the first 3 games of this series. Had the only hit against Sonny Gray. The A's here on Monday night. Nothing in 2.
In addition to throwing a lot of strikes, he's throwing a lot of quality strikes. Those pitches are on the inside corner. He's kept his changeup away, although he really hasn't had to. The change of speed has been enough to get the hitters no matter what the location.
And there is strikeout number 10 for Scott Kazmir as he gets Ryan Rua for the 3rd time tonight.
Number 20, Jake.
So Kazmir 10 punch outs in 6 2/3 innings here this evening. Jake Smolinski now the hitter. Smolinski robbed of extra bases by Brett Lowry in the 5th inning. Diving stop right down the 3rd baseline and got up to throw him out. Ball 1. The line on Kazmir, just 1 walk. That was to Prince Fielder back in the 4th. 10 punch outs. His 23rd career 10-plus strikeout game. That's in the dirt. Boy, what a stop by Fegley. 2-0. Jake getting his first start of the year. And, Jeff Bannister noting today that with the left-handers on the mound, Rangers have Smolinski and Delino DeShields as outfielders to throw in there against left-handed pitching. Here's that diving stop by Lowry.
That's how hard that ball was hit. He's right on top of the line to begin with. He still had to dive for it. Actually dove into foul territory to catch it after it went over the back.
And ball 4 puts Smolinski aboard. Well, a 2-out walk, just the 2nd walk issued by Kazmir tonight.
Now batting, number 9, Adam Rosales.
Fegley out to take a little time and let Otero get ready, I would assume. I don't know why else he would go out and talk to him at this juncture. Adam Rosales has struck out both times, and he has come up against Kazmir. And that in itself is headline worthy, in that Rosales was 7 out of 17 coming into tonight's play against the left-hander. Nothing in one.
Well, Kazmir has induced a lot of swings and misses tonight.
Left-hander, a check of the runners. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rosales has 1 home run in those 7 hits against Kazmir. And he'd only struck out 1 time against him coming in 17 at bats. He's added 2 more in just 2 at bats tonight. To left field, Zobrist in and over, makes the catch. That'll do it. Rangers strand a couple of runners, an error and a walk. Stretch time at Oakland's Odotco Coliseum, 9-0 A's. Season savings at Globe Life Park. Enter Dr. Pepper as the coupon code at TexasRangers.com/specials, or bring any Dr. Pepper can to the ballpark for savings of at least 25% for most Sunday through Thursday home games. It's a perfect way to watch your Rangers take on the Angels April 13th through the 15th. Offer is good April through July. Now Delino DeShields, his first major league action out there in center field tonight. You see Delino get in the ballgame, so every Ranger position player that is on the opening day roster has now seen action. Tyler Ladendorf starting things off here in the 7th inning. It's Logan Verrett. 0-2 very quickly.
In the press briefing before batting practice, Jeff Bannister talked about wanting to get all his guys into the game and said that he would try to get Delino into a game today or tomorrow. He wants to do whatever he can to keep the bench players as fresh, as in tune to the ball game as they can. He doesn't want them to go a long time without playing. Says it's very difficult to expect performance when they haven't had a chance to tune up at all. So he wants to try to keep them all engaged as much as he can.
2-2. Yeah, that's got to be.
Ron Washington used to talk about that, keeping the extra guys engaged.
It's got to be tough sitting around and trying to get into a big league ball game and not really, I guess, not having your timing, not having the sense of the speed of the game or something like that.
And so there's a lot of ways that he can do that. If Leonys Martin is going to be playing most of the time in center field, there'll be a lot of games where he is just hit and you put a defensive player in, or a game like this where the Rangers are behind and you can put Delino in and he should get an at-bat tonight too. And you do that frequently and get Leonys off the field for 2 or 3 innings at a time frequently. That over the course of 162 games helps to keep him healthy and fresh.
Leydendorf draws the leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. First free pass issued by Logan Verrett. And before Craig Gentry comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. Craig Gentry, 0 for 3 tonight. He chops that next pitch foul. He finds himself down in a hole now. No balls, 2 strikes. Gentry hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 3rd inning. A's 9 runs on 13 hits tonight. Rangers, for the 2nd night in 3, only 1 hit. There's a wild pitch all the way to the backstop. So Leydendorf down to 2nd. Robinson Chirinos back to grab that errant throw. One ball, 2 strikes. Logan Verrett facing Craig Gentry. Now 2-2. Gentry, of course, the former Ranger. Fit in very well with the ball club that the A's put out last year. The defensive replacement got in 94 ball games. Did Gentry. Led the team with 20 stolen bases. And Delino DeShields retreating, makes the catch. Tagging at 2nd, moving on over to 3rd. Here's Leydendorf. He is in with a slide. And that is out number 1.
I think one thing that Jeff Bannister would probably like to see tonight is for Logan Verrett to be able to finish the game out and not have to use another reliever.
Yep.
3 relievers pitched the first day, no problem. 3 the second day, no problem. But in this kind of a game, if Logan could finish the game out, it would just keep all of them even that much more fresh.
Cody Ross 1 for 4 with an RBI single. He got the breaking ball in the first pitch and couldn't make contact. Nothing in 1. Ross, a 34-year-old from New Mexico. Last year, Ross with Arizona appeared in 83 ball games. And a couple of home runs, drove in 15 in part-time play. One and 2.
I mentioned it earlier. Arizona sucked up a lot of cash to let him go. $9 million, I think it was. Pretty solid pickup for the A's. Minimum salary guy, a veteran player. Hit 22 home runs a few years ago for the Red Sox.
That's going to get the run home as Elvis gobbles it up, fires on to first. And Cody Ross on the ground out has his 2nd RBI of the night. And the A's have reached double figures. It's now 10-0 Oakland. Now with 2 outs and the bases empty, let's take a look at the progressive upcoming schedule. Rangers and A's finish up tomorrow afternoon, and then it's on home opening week at Globe Life Park. Houston in for the weekend. And then the Angels come in next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before the Rangers have their first off day of the year on the 16th. Then it's on to Seattle, Arizona, and Anaheim. Ben Zobrist is being called back, and that's going to be Eric Sogard coming on as a pinch hitter. Zobrist finished for the evening, and Sogard, who started the first 2 games of this series, has come in to take over here. 2 out of 7. Sogard in the first couple of games. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. Logan Verrett back to the plate. Verrett about ready to unleash his 48th pitch of the night. Robinson Chirinos flashing the signs out for Verrett. Now Logan into the wine, and instead Sogard asked for time. Now the 2-2. Popped him up. Rougned Odor makes the grab. That'll do it. The leadoff walk comes around to score against Verrett and the Rangers. We'll go to the 8th inning. It's the A's 10 and the Rangers nothing.
Night, right about this time, we were about to enjoy the debut of Keone Kela for the Texas Rangers, and what a dramatic debut it was, getting out of a bases-loaded jam, all to the delight of his teammates.
You know, his bases loaded and stuff like that. Like, it was just an amazing feeling, you know, because I've got to be around these guys for a couple of years, and I couldn't be more happy with the group of guys we have, and I'm just, you know, it was a great team win and a great managerial win for Bannister. You know, it's gonna be a great season.
Buzz and Tom, I really enjoyed talking to him after the game last night. I was amazed at his sincere reaction, talking about the moment coming in when he knew he was going to make his debut, and so honestly describing that he had the presence of mind to step back and enjoy it, and then to work himself into a tight spot there in the 7th inning. But such a sigh of relief, and his teammates all gathering around him. It was really a great moment. Said it took him till about 3 a.m. this morning to calm down, and his feet were barely back on the ground this afternoon, guys.
I don't blame him, Dana. That was a great moment.
Yeah, and Dana, you were down there. You probably got a sense of it, too, but you don't see that very often during a ball game. Almost a celebration on the mound when it wasn't even the end of the game.
No,
everybody's so happy for the young man.
Yeah, it tells you that he must be a great kid for them to respond that way to it.
And Rougned Odor starting off the 8th inning. It's a new pitcher, and that's Dan Otero, and not much change with the change of pitchers. A strikeout to start off the 8th inning.
It looked like all the infielders were just as happy for him as he was for himself. Yeah. And it was such an emotional appearance with a 2-run lead, bases loaded, 1 out, have to pitch to the middle of the order to come in for your first game. There's no way he was going to be able to walk all the way back to the dugout, because in this ballpark, that's a long walk without breaking into a smile.
Yeah.
There's no possible way he could do that. He couldn't have done that if he tried. Otero has a really good sinker. His ball tails in and down to the right-hand hitters. A lot of movement.
The line on Keone Kela from last night, a couple of hits and a walk before he really got going and got that strikeout and the double play to end that inning. And it was a big inning too, the 7th inning last night. Rangers hanging on to that 3-1 lead, and it was really important, not just for Keone, but for the entire ball club that he get out of that. And you might say that if you're going to make a first impression, that was a favorable one to not to get into the trouble, but to be able to get out of it like that. It's just outside to Chirinos. 2-2 the count. Robinson this evening is struck out and flied to center. Towering foul fly ball, long run for Leidendorf into the bullpen. He's able to have time to get there and make the grab for out number 2.
Well, Leidendorf started out at second, ends up in left field. He's got the same kind of versatility that Ben Zobrist does, evidently. He looked like a pretty good left fielder the way he sprinted all the way in to catch that ball with no problem.
Oh, with 2 outs, here is the first at bat for Delino DeShields Jr. First major league at bat. DeShields came in to take Leonis Martin's place defensively, and now he's got his first at bat. Rangers got DeShields in that Rule 5 draft from Houston. He takes a strike to even things up at 1-1. DeShields last year played at Double-A Corpus Christi, hit .236. Astros just really didn't feel like they had a spot for him, with the guys in the big league club fairly young also, and DeShields just 22. But felt like that his path was pretty well blocked. Willing to leave him unprotected. Rangers gladly took him. Chopper foul, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Father, of course, Delino Sr., 13-year Major League player. This may be it. Otero has no play. Delino DeShields with his first major league hit, a high chopper, and he legs it out. Well, very fitting that the young man would get an infield hit like
wheels.
that. Yep.
Don't see many games where 3 players get their first major league hit.
Congratulations to Delino DeShields Jr. And that ball will be in the dugout and on its way to Delino's mantelpiece over the winter.
Yeah, the only tough part for him is it's 10-0, so he's probably not going to try to steal second base. But you know that he'd love to get the opportunity to do that.
I think it's pretty safe to say he's going to have an opportunity here shortly.
Sure.
Not in this game, but the second base hit of the night. And Elvis, first ball swinging, skies to right field. Cody Ross puts it away, and that'll do it. Delino DeShields with his first major league hit is stranded. We played 7.5 against the A's by 10.
Tomorrow's finale of this opening 4-game set against the Oakland A's. First day game of the season and first start for young Nick Martinez, the youngest member of the Rangers starting rotation at 24 years old, will make his season debut against Kendall Graveman, making his first career major league start. And it is Martinez who had a great finish to last season, those 6 starts of 2014, the last of which was against the Oakland A's. And here he will start this season against Oakland as well. Tomorrow, we hope you'll join us. It is AT&T U-verse bringing us our next telecast, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, guys.
All right, Dana, thank you. Now, Phil Klein will take over here in the 8th inning, his second appearance of the young season. Phil Klein last year in 17 ball games. Very impressive first time through with the Rangers. A 164 opponent's batting average, 284 ERA. And Billy Butler bangs out his second base hit of the night. Leadoff single here in inning number 8. And that's pretty typical Billy Butler stroke, that right center field pitch out over the plate. 14 hits this evening for Oakland.
And ball down and away. Good job of going the other way with it. A little tougher to pull that kind of pitch. Billy Butler is a .295 career hitter coming into this ball game.
And Phil Klein up and in to Mark Canha. And folks here, 19,479 for the most part in unison, kind of groaning at that high-tide fastball.
Canha's probably saying, if you were trying to throw it up and in like that. Thanks for noticing the job I did tonight. Glad to be a part of this ball game.
2 balls, no strikes.
He had a big game in his first major league game.
Yeah, 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 4 RBI. Like you said, Tom, maybe a total of a foot away from having 2 home runs instead of 2 doubles. 2-0 pitch from Klein. 3 balls and no strikes. Canna made an out, popped out his first time up. After that, double, single, double. Three and one. Bill Klein, an Ohioan, a 25-year-old. Big, tall right-hander at 6'7", about 250 pounds. Youngstown State University. Fire strike 2. Klein, originally a 30th round draft pick by the Rangers back in 2011. Off to the right. Line set again, the payoff pitch coming. Sky high pop up out behind second. Elvis chasing off Odor, and that's out number 1.
Well, Canna had some good swings in that at bat too. A's have Nate Fryman, big, tall right-hand hitter, first baseman, who's on the disabled list right now. They've got Coco Crisp and Josh Reddick, other regular players as well. Fryman's not a regular, but he's on the team off and on the last couple of years as a platoon guy. Crisp won't be back for probably a couple of months. Reddick should be back any day now.
Our AT&T U-Burst rewind. With a gap in right center field. And a very well executed relay. 8-6-5 on the put out at third base. Martin to Andrus to Rosales. One of the bright spots for the Rangers tonight.
You know, in that kind of a play with the cutoff man out in right field, the Rangers are probably better off if Martin doesn't hit the cutoff man, throws it over his head. He's got the strongest arm, and let the infielder make the shorter throw.
Yeah. Brett Lowry up there now. And he pops one up. He had Elvis circling out underneath it for out number 2. Josh Fagley will be next. Got a note here for you on Canna's night. 4 RBI. Just the second A's player since, well, at least 1914 with 4 or more RBI in his major league debut. You know who has the record?
I do, but I couldn't say it.
You couldn't.
No,
you
I couldn't say that.
Okay, well, I can understand why. Ben Grieve, as a matter of fact. It's the best hitting Grieve that I know of. I just
That's official.
Ben had 5 RBI in his major league debut against the Giants.
You know, Danny Darwin was
97.
pitching for the Giants in that game. Danny, to this day, says he served up the first double to him because he knew he wanted to get his first major league hit. And if I remember right, I might be wrong on this. I think Dave Magadan was on first base on 3 of the doubles and had to score all the way from first base on all 3 of them. I might be wrong on that. I know Dave was Ben's teammate that year.
Yeah. Get his wind sprints in.
Yeah, he did.
5 RBI in his major league debut. That's impressive.
Canna came close to having 5 or 6 if those balls off the top of the wall were home runs.
That's right.
There's Dave.
1-1, the count to Fegley. A little looper out behind second, and Rougned Odor handles this one. So the leadoff single by Butler goes to no avail for the A's. They strand a runner, their 6th of the game. We'll go to the 9th inning in Oakland. The A's leading 10-0. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By AT&T Uverse TV. Uverse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. And by your Texas Ford dealers. The EcoBoost Challenge is on at your Texas Ford dealer. Get to your best in Texas Ford dealer today. Well, the 9th inning here in Oakland, and the third pitcher used by Bob Melvin tonight, R.J. Alvarez, hard-throwing young right-hander, is on. Roy Emilio Alvarez is a given name, and was with San Diego last year for 10 ball games. And now over here with the Oakland A's. This pitch to Adrian Beltre, in for strike 1.
He's got some pretty impressive minor league numbers. Struck out 178 batters in 119 innings, so he must have something going for him.
Alvarez came over as part of that deal for Derek Norris in the offseason. We mentioned Billy Beane went completely crazy rebuilding the A's this year. 9 trades over the offseason with 27 players involved in those 9 trades. One pitch to Beltre. Beltre tonight has reached on an error. Grounded out and lined out. 0 for 3 and 0 for 10. Very beginning stages of the 2015 season. To center field. Craig Gentry backing up a couple of steps, makes the grab, 1 away.
We'll see how the trades work out for the A's, but I think when you look at the trade that Alvarez was in, you have to say that the A's made a pretty good trade. They got a kid that looks like he can be at least a setup reliever, big strikeout guy in the minor leagues. All the pitches he's thrown except that slider have been about 94 miles an hour. So you pick up a serviceable, solid relief guy, and they also got Kendall Graveman along with him, guy in their rotation. So maybe you get a young starter, a young bullpen guy for a catcher that's not even sure how old Norris is, probably 28, 29, something like that. Not a real good defensive catcher. That's kind of a no-brainer trade for the A's right there.
Yeah, they got Jesse Hahn.
Was it Jesse Hahn?
Yeah,
okay.
Graveman
was the other one.
Toronto trade. Yeah.
Okay.
Hard to keep those trades straight.
Well, he made a lot of them.
And we'll see Kendall Graveman tomorrow.
Then we saw Jesse Hahn last night. He didn't have much of a chance. They only scored 1 run for him, but he threw the ball well. He had a good fastball, big curveball, good changeup, a lot of potential, big, strong right-hander.
Pitch way inside the fielder, and the count goes to 3-0. Prince tonight has walked in 3 times to the plate, 0 for 2 officially, a strikeout and a fly ball. Rangers just 2 base hits this evening. Three and 1. Alvarez getting that one at 95, so a little extra zip on it. Our Echo pitch tracker showing you kind of a scattergun approach for Alvarez. Base hit right down the right field line. Ross over to cut it off. He slides and knocks it down. Prince fielder will lumber into second base with a 1-out double.
Well, that's the way to beat the shift. Just hit it so hard and so far away from him that no one has a chance to catch it. That's another line drive. Prince has hit several hard line shots to right field. One was caught the first game. Yesterday, same type of a line drive, drove in a run and got by Craig Gentry in right field. And this one is hit so hard, they're unable to cut it off in right field. Prince hustling all the way, gets himself a double.
Yep.
Another well-hit ball.
Yeah, that ball he hit last night that got by Craig Gentry, it looked like it handcuffed him, was hit so hard out there in right field.
It did. All 3 of those balls, if he gets them up in the air just a little bit, obviously with his power, they're going to go well out of here.
Ryan Rua down to the count 0-1, has struck out all 3 times that he's been up there tonight. All 3 times, however, were against Scott Kazmir, who struck out 10, so that's not exactly a knock on Ryan Rua that happened. Kazmir was really on his game tonight. Now, Ryan Rua on the Brett Lowry parade. Remember, Lowry last night struck out 4 times on 12 pitches total, and Rua's on the same kind of a streak tonight, 11 pitches. Now he's going to change that right there. He fouled one off. Rua had faced 9 pitches in 3 at bats and struck out 3 times prior to this at bat. And he'd gotten behind 0-2 and then got the foul ball. So Lowry will keep the mantle of being the only guy to strike out in this series on 12 pitches 4 different times.
In Ryan's defense, he saw some great stuff from Scott Kazmir tonight. In fact, Kazmir, we've seen Kazmir a lot over the years, going back to Tampa Bay. I've seen him pitch a lot of great games, but tonight was probably as good as we've seen him. 1 hit, 1 bunt in 7 innings, 2 walks and 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, talking with Ray Fosse, who's a broadcaster with the A's, he said, Kazmir's learned how to pitch, and I can see what he was talking about, because that was pretty masterful tonight. He had good stuff. Ray Fosse in his day caught quite a few good pitchers here with Oakland and Cleveland. But Kazmir, that little extra, that cut changeup that he's come up with, the cut fastball, a little taken off, has made a big difference. A couple of different speeds on the off-speed pitch, and
then to be able to still pop it in there when you want to at 93 or 4 miles an hour. Pretty nice combination tonight.
And Rua with the strikeout. Pretty nasty stuff from R.J. Alvarez, and that is 2 out.
Now batting, number 20, Jake Smolinski.
No, it'll be up to Jake Smolinski if this ball game is to continue for the Rangers. Smolinski tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. And tomorrow afternoon we'll be with you at 2:30. Nick Martinez on the hill. Ken McGraven going for Oakland to wrap up this 4-game series. The Rangers come on home for opening weekend at the ballpark. Houston comes in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, followed by the Angels Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I want to remind folks, the parking lots on Friday open at 9 a.m. And the Rangers encouraging everybody to get out there early because the new MLB policy is that everybody will go through a metal detector coming into the ballpark. So it may take a little extra time until folks get the routine down. Gates will open at noon. It's a 3 o'clock first pitch on Friday. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fielder getting his lead from second. And Alvarez ready to work. Got the off-speed pitch in. 1-2. Alvarez gives up the Prince Fielder double. The Fielder stranded at second. Strikeouts of Brewer and Smolinski, and the Rangers shut out for the second time in 3 nights. Tonight the final 10-0 in favor of the A's as they have won 2 of the first 3, blanking the Rangers here tonight. So 10-0 the final. We will be back to Odacco Coliseum to wrap things up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.